Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Another beautiful morning, and I'm super excited. In this platform, we hardly used to get girls, and today, for a change, we have a beautiful girl from West Bengal, India, and she's an amazing, amazing photographer. She started her photography journey, I think, 7 years ago. Now, in 7 years span, she managed to become a Nikon ambassador, and she is also doing workshop for Nikon, planning to do start her own workshops from this February onwards. So that's all about Aparupa, and she's going to join us to share her story. Let's listen what she has to say. All right. Hi, Aparupa. How are you?
Fine. I'm fine. How are you doing, Nisha?
Good, good, yeah, good. Thank you. And we are actually super excited to see you over here. As I mentioned, most of our guests are guys, and as you know, in you being in
Yes.
this field, the majority it's a male dominant segment of photography. I'm so happy to see you over here. It would be great if you can share your story, how you got into photography, what inspired you, and how come you choose wildlife photography and birds and what do you
Yes.
think? Yeah.
Yes. So, first of all, thank you so much, Nisha, and to your team, Paws, that you gave me that opportunity to connect with like minded people and nature lovers. I'm really glad to be presented here.
Thank you. Thank you for your
So,
time.
yes. Um,
Yeah.
can
So
I
you
go?
said you have started 7 years ago. So what was your inspiration to get into this?
Okay, so yes, I am a wildlife photographer and Nikon expertise, and it's been almost 7 years that I am into this field.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually am based out of a village named
Mm-hmm.
Tehata of Nadia
Mm-hmm.
district in West Bengal.
Mm-hmm.
So Tehata is kind of place full of wildlife and greenery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
uh, since childhood I grew among them, and birds have been always fascinated me since
Mm-hmm.
childhood. So,
Okay.
and I also have that point and shoot camera back
Mm-hmm.
then,
Mm-hmm.
not the bridge camera, this point and shoot camera, like when you switch on the tiny lens
Yes.
comes out, that camera. So I
Yeah.
used to capture birds with that camera, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a day when I got a decent shot of a kingfisher, and I was so excited to get the shot, and I rushed to upload that photo in Facebook birds group. That time Facebook was very popular. So I didn't nothing. I did know nothing about the bird ID, or so I just before uploading, I just checked some posts in the group, and which have some posts like common crystal, common mina. So I thought this kingfisher must be a common kingfisher because it is pretty common in our locality. So I did that way and uploaded it, and in no time I get so many comments correcting my id that this is not a common kingfisher, rather it's a white-throated kingfisher, and the common kingfisher is actually very small than this. So that day I was like, oh my god, there are so many different species in kingfisher family too. So that day I got so interested, and I got so curious. Mm, I was like, I have to know them better, I have to study them more, and I have to photograph them in a better way. So that was my turning point, you can say. And after that, my parents were so supportive. They noticed my obsession with the birds, and they gift me my first DSLR, which was Nikon D7000, on my next birthday. So
Oh,
thus the journey has begun.
and to everybody who see this now, Aparupa's videos, I'm sure you must have seen it already in Facebook as well as in Instagram. And her mother is the one who is behind those behind the scene cameras and films. So that's definitely a great job, such a supporting family. Now,
Yes.
and you are a master. You got a master in physics as well. So physics to photography. That's wonderful. All right, dear. Let's jump into your presentation so we can see your beautiful pictures and the stories behind that.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So
Mm,
I introduce myself.
yes.
So can you see the presentation?
Yes.
See the
Yeah,
screen?
yes, we can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, starting today's webinar with these gorgeous iridescent beauties, this purple sunbird pair and this purple rump sunbird. So, this was the time when I was pretty busy with my studies and I couldn't give enough time um, uh, to shoot the to roam outside for the birds. So me and with my mom we planned that, then why shouldn't we invite to our place. So we religiously searched and googled for such kind of mm, plants, flowering plants, which can attract these birds and butterflies. So these are the shot from my earlier days of photography. So you can see I was
Yes.
more into close up at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the shots. And
Okay.
moving next. So these
Wow.
are the shots which I took a few months ago. So
Oh, great.
uh, you can see the how my taste have changed during this time. I was more into close-up at that time, and the subject is same. The setup is almost same, but in this time, I tried to add some background, some more context to photo, and chose a wider perspective.
Great.
So moving on to next slide. So
Mm-hmm.
in addition to it, I also like to tell the beginner photographers which are
Mm-hmm.
who are watching this webinar, that if
Yeah.
you are in that stage, like
Mm-hmm.
what was I in 7 years back,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are busy with busy with your with something, and
Mm-hmm.
also want to continue photography side by side, you also
Mm-hmm.
can plant such flowering plants,
Mm-hmm.
um, which attracts these sunbirds.
Great.
So by making your own kind of studio at your own home.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, here
Yes.
you see this adorable cuties, one of my favorite species to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and they never disappoint you. The way they turn their head, the way they wink, the way they yawn, everything about them is so adorable and so photogenic. So these are such photographs which help to build my portfolio at that time, at the starting of my photography.
Mm-hmm.
Moving next,
Yeah.
here I also kept some images that I took from my own phone.
Mm-hmm.
So phone can do wonders.
Yes.
So I got lots of queries like, ma'am, what camera should I buy to start photography, or
Mm-hmm.
which places should we visit at the beginning of our photography.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest that you don't have to buy any DSLR. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you can afford, then well and good. You can
Yeah.
buy definitely a entry level DSLR.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the budget at the time right
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
then you can always start with your mobile phone.
Yeah.
All you need to have to find these elements which
Mm-hmm.
are pretty much available uh, in all over India,
Mm-hmm.
and have to develop an eye for the composition.
Yes.
Moving forward,
Great.
here's another one of my personal favorites, and
Mm-hmm.
I have always been a fan of backlit images in
Mm-hmm.
golden hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like the warm tone images.
Mm-hmm.
So this is taken in Gajaldoba. You can
Mm-hmm.
see a guardwall is just took a flight, and I really love the how symmetrical its wing is.
Yeah.
The flashes is all around.
Mm-hmm.
So this was shot just before the sundown,
Mm-hmm.
and I opted 10,000 Kelvin, the white
Mm-hmm.
balance, to
Mm-hmm.
even more warm tone.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward,
Yeah.
mm, this is from the Kaziranga.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to capture the essence of Kaziranga, the beautiful landscape of Kaziranga,
Mm-hmm.
and also the the proud of Kaziranga,
Mm-hmm.
the one-horned rhinoceros.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the beautiful hues, the oranges, the blues, the greeneries. So all together with the
Yeah.
rhino approaching the path,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it. And I also opted for a wider perspective.
Yeah.
For that I used a 70-200 lens, and that is
Mm-hmm.
very much versatile lens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's was it.
Great.
So moving forward, another
Mm-hmm.
landscapes from Kaziranga.
Beautiful.
So thank you. You can see the on the left
Mm-hmm.
there is Asiatic wild buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I love the symmetry of their horns and ears,
Mm-hmm.
and in the backdrop, the tall trees of Kaziranga,
Yeah.
the elephant grasses. Altogether, I really like this frame. And on the right, uh, this is the Budapahar range
Mm-hmm.
of Kaziranga. So, to me personally, what I feel that Budapahar is the most beautiful places of Kaziranga.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the times photographer don't usually visit because it is a bit far from the main zone of Kaziranga,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I visited there in April, and at the
Mm-hmm.
time you can see the field with the white flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can also see the three hawk deers,
Mm-hmm.
and sun is setting. So
Yeah.
that's it. So the next slide, it is another important aspects of any wildlife photography.
Mm-hmm.
When you photograph any wild, maybe it animal or maybe it birds, you have to know the behavior of your subject, so
Yes.
that you can apprehend what will be your subject's next move, and so
Mm-hmm.
that you prepare yourself accordingly, that
Yeah.
and you won't miss a single shot by knowing
Okay.
the subject behavior. So you can see on the left there is a bee eater, and on the right a white-throated kingfisher with the
Mm-hmm.
frog. These both species have the same kind of behavior, which is when they flew from a certain perch, they
Mm-hmm.
fetch back to the same perch uh,
Okay.
where they were initially seated. So by knowing
Okay.
this, you can easily compose this kind of flight shot because you know where you have to focus.
Okay.
So moving next.
Wow.
Uh, so here's another one of my personal favorites. Um, it is also what I noticed that these damselflies and dragonflies, when they are
Mm-hmm.
near the water body, they
Mm-hmm.
usually hover and seek for such kind of perch which is just above the water.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case,
Mhm.
my Bengal water monitor lizard has
Mhm.
become that perch. So whenever this lizard was
Yeah.
holding its head up of the water level, this
Mhm.
damsel was attempting to sit on its head.
Okay.
It was not giving that chance to them, and it
Mhm.
was continuously dipping in the water. But after some time,
Mhm.
it stands still, and it was looking at me. Looking at our boat. This was obviously shot from a boat, and
Mhm.
it was shot in Purvasthali.
Mhm.
So so the damselfly, when it get the opportunity to
Mhm.
sit, gently sat on that on its head,
Mhm.
and it was a really a lucky day for me, because at the meantime it flicked its tongue out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so one lucky day, one
Wonderful.
lucky.
Wonderful. Wonderful shot.
Thank you. So moving next. Here's another the trademark shot of Purvasthali. So these
Mhm.
are pretty common in Purvasthali. Huh?
Mhm.
So many photographers have the same kind of shot. So this
Mhm.
was my first time. I have seen a kingfisher hunted down a frog. So when
Mhm.
I first on the photo which is on the left,
Mhm.
then the kingfisher just caught the frog and it just
Okay.
perched on this branch. So there
Mhm.
was no action. And in addition to that, there was a cormorant on the same perch.
Yeah.
So I opted for a wider perspective, so that the both species, I can get both species in a single frame.
Mhm.
And the action started, and like you can see how the kingfisher is beating the frog
Yeah.
against the perch, and it's the inside portions of the frog is coming out,
Yeah.
and, and the final gulp. So for that, I chose to close up to
Mm.
showcase the minor details.
Great.
So here's another.
Okay.
So many of my viewers commented it as uh, incoming and outgoing live well.
It is.
So, so
Um,
actually, this was not taken uh, at the same day.
mhm.
So I was giving my time by thinking that maybe this time the kingfisher hunted down something different than frog.
Mhm.
But no, I was not that lucky. It again hunted down a frog,
Mhm.
but I was not willing to capture the same kind of shots. So
Mhm.
I kept my camera
Mhm.
mounted on a tripod, so that
Mhm.
I was not. I was not shooting the previous kind of shots, but
Mhm.
I was monitoring
Mhm.
that something unique happened. I
Mhm.
have to keep myself prepared. So
Okay.
when I get a small hint that it was flicking its tail.
Okay.
So it's also a bird's behavior when
Yes.
it is about to eliminate its waste. It
Mhm.
flick its tail a little bit
Mhm.
upwards.
Okay.
So at that moment, I could freeze this.
That's great.
So moving forward.
Mhm.
This is another trademark shot of Kaziranga.
Mhm.
So you can get these jungle miners with the rhinoceros
Mhm.
almost every time. Every time, whenever you see a rhinoceros, you can get to see this jungle miner troop.
Mhm.
So these their symbiotic relationship is
Mhm.
very interesting, and we can really make some interesting wonderful images out of
Mhm.
this relationship. So
Mhm.
as you can see, I really like the way the myna is just picking the insects near the mouth of the
Yes.
rhinoceros. And I
Good.
also like the afternoon light, the soft light,
Yeah.
which give a little more depth to the skin texture of the rhino.
Yes.
So here's another shot of rhino. But
Mm-hmm.
as I told earlier, I've always been a fan of this kind of golden hour images. But
Mm-hmm.
it was not shot in um, afternoon, like before sunset. This was
Okay.
shot around 3:30 p.m.
Oh.
And fortunately, when we our gypsy was passing by this water body, so we
Mm-hmm.
noticed rhino, and fortunately
Mm-hmm.
the sun was opposite to that rhino.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a beautiful bouquet in the background. So I opted for white balance around 10,000 Kelvin, and
Okay.
I little bit increased the tone in the post
Mm-hmm.
processing.
Great. Great.
So moving forward, you can
Yeah.
see the essence of Manglajori. So
Mm-hmm.
Manglajori is known as the bird's paradise,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the birder's paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the purple heron is
Yeah.
waiting for the perfect time to hunt
Mm-hmm.
food, and the photographers in the backdrop on the boat,
Mm-hmm.
you can,
Mm-hmm.
they are also waiting for the perfect time to to capture the hunt shot. So
Okay.
the all about the Mangla Jodi, the patience is the key, and all is about the waiting game.
Mm-hmm.
So the purple heron and the photographers um, uh,
Mm-hmm.
both were not lucky, so it
Mm-hmm.
didn't get any catch. But
Oh.
thankfully, sometimes later, in some
Uh-huh.
different location, it caught a
Uh-huh.
fish. Sorry, not a fish,
Mm.
but a
A
frog.
frog again. Mm-hmm.
Frog, and I captured it in flight.
That's great.
Here's another set of images of
Mm-hmm.
Brahmini kite. It was
Mm-hmm.
shot a place called Ashka in Orissa.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can see the after finishing the fish,
Mm-hmm.
the Brahmini kite was flying with the leftover fish intestines,
Mm-hmm.
and the um, but uh, it was his bad luck that it the intestine
Mm-hmm.
fell down, and
Mm-hmm.
another Brahmini kite snatched it
Mm-hmm.
in halfway
Oh,
mid-air.
ho, ho. Oh, okay. That's great.
So
Interesting
maybe
story.
that's the reason it got nervous and it loses its grip.
Yeah.
So the chase was always going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, another set of images. The different species, but the main concept is same.
Mm-hmm.
Both are fighting for the food.
Mm-hmm.
Here on the left, you can see a pair of black-headed ibis, which
Yes.
just hunted snake, and
Oh,
another ibis is after his hard-earned food.
yeah.
So likewise, the same thing happened in these Brahmini kites.
Uh-huh.
So these are all shot in Orissa.
Wonderful. Great collection.
Thank you. So this shot is again from Mangalajuri.
Mm-hmm.
So I I was there for another species, but I
Mm-hmm.
really like the contrast of the subject with the backdrop, and how beautifully they were fighting for the territories. So I like the little flowers, little white flowers in the on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So they were fighting but it seems like they were performing
Mhm.
ballet in the media.
Mhm.
So I really like personally that feel of the image.
Mhm.
So moving forward is another amazing species, which is Indian paradise flycatcher.
Mhm.
Just its name suggests, it really looks like it came from
Heaven.
paradise,
Yes.
heaven. So
It's a
this was,
beautiful one.
thank you. These they are really very swift, so it is really difficult, and with its long tail, so most of the time when I captured it, I could freeze it. Most of the
Mhm.
time, the tail was cut off, a
Mhm.
little bit amount of cut off. So after giving it 3 to 4 hours, I could capture it only.
That's great. In 3 to 4 hours, you managed to get it. That itself is wonderful. Amazing shot.
So in this image, this pair of Indian paradise flycatcher is was making meal out of these butterflies. So what they usually do is when they hunt a butterfly on their wing, they
Mhm.
usually carry it to a suitable perch, and
Okay.
and they try to remove their wings before swallowing the main body of the
Yeah.
butterfly.
Yeah.
And if the butterfly taste was bad,
Mhm.
then then the butterflies may be allowed to escape as
Oh.
well. So
Oh.
but
Interesting.
more or less
Mhm.
uh, butterflies got injured,
Yes.
and with its sometimes with its segment of wings removed. So
Mhm.
many of the times we see, right, the butterflies with some removed wings,
Okay.
missing wings.
Yeah.
So that the for these beauties, or you can say predators.
Mhm. Great.
So here's another set of images,
Mhm.
not shot at the same location, but
Mhm.
very similar kind of feeling.
Mhm.
Shot in Kaziranga.
Mhm.
So what I personally prefer, that these are the uncropped images. Huh? So
Wonderful.
I shoot it vertically because the trees, the leading lines, and the trees itself were giving so much forest vibes. So
Mhm.
I opted for a vertical frame, because
Great.
otherwise horizontal frame I was missing the top portion part.
Okay. That's beautiful.
So here's the come the another showstopper of Kaziranga, the
Mhm.
Western Hula gibbon.
Yeah.
So this is the only ape species in Indian subcontinent, and it is
Yes.
also one of the 25 most endangered primates of the world.
Okay. Great.
Um, so we got these species in the way of Buddha Pahar. We got
Mhm.
this halfway of the Buddha Pahar,
Mhm.
uh, on the roadside trees.
Mhm.
So I when I first saw it, it was
Mhm.
lower portion of the trees. There were lots of distractions. So I
Uh-huh.
waited if we can get a better shot.
Mhm.
So it gradually ascends ascend the tree,
Mhm.
and went to this canopy-like structure. It is giving a frame within
Yes.
a feeling.
Yes.
So this is a high key and green leaves, and with this frame, um, and with the stair.
That's
So I,
beautiful. Especially the formation of the tree is like you
yes,
got the a whole thing posed for you. It's beautiful
yes,
image.
yes. Thank you. So here's the female of that species, the
Mhm.
western gibbon,
Mhm.
and these are the close-ups. You can see the minute details. You can see how she's staring towards us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I really like the funny feel on the left image, like someone cracked a joke and the lady was trying hard to control her
uh,
laugh, that kind of feeling. So
okay.
that's all the species.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another side by side, warm tone and cool tone.
Yeah.
These both are shot in the morning.
Great.
So on the left, you can see gray heron,
Mm-hmm.
which is shot in Mangalajuri. So
Mm-hmm.
the sun was risen at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
there was already a warm hue in the atmosphere. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't force it to be cool or something else.
Mm-hmm.
I just increased the white balance to some higher level of Kelvin, and uh, and the atmosphere was really very kind of foggy, so it I got a very soft kind of texture from this
Mm-hmm.
photo.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, on the right side,
Mm-hmm.
you can see a ruddy duck which was
Yeah.
resting on its one leg on the Tista river, on the Tista river.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so, at the time, the sun was not rose yet,
Mm-hmm.
so mm, so there was already a cool tone in
Yeah.
the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So something towards 3,500 Kelvin that I
Okay.
used to create this image.
Great.
There's another side by side cool tone and warm tone.
Yeah.
Uh, these the left on the left, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I um, I captured this shot at the sundown. The sun was really down at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to use the high ISO,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and of course with the 10,000 Kelvin. And on
Beautiful.
the right hand side, it was a winter morning, and it was so foggy, so misty
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't. Then the bird activity was also very low.
Mm-hmm.
Only these jacana, the fish
Okay.
and tail jacana was moving to and fro,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it's. I thought, why shouldn't we go for a cool tone,
Mm-hmm.
give a chilly winter morning kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, these also was shot at Gajoldoba, which is situated in North Bengal.
Okay.
So in both in the frame you can see the ruddy shelduck. On the left, it is in its natural habitat. I
Yes.
mean, the backdrop it is natural, and on the right hand side, it
Mm-hmm.
is a man-made backdrop, which is a Tista barrage. Tista,
Mm-hmm.
Tista yes. So I always like to experiment with the different kind of backdrops to get some different perspectives.
Great.
So
Beautiful.
here's another photo of Asiatic wild buffalo from
Mm-hmm.
that Burapahar range.
Mm-hmm.
It was so beautiful, as I told earlier. When I saw these beasts and amidst these beautiful pink flowers, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing came to my mind that if there is flowers, there must be some butterflies, right? So
Yes.
why shouldn't we wait for a few minutes, or and if if we be lucky, then we can get a butterfly close to the beast, and
Yes.
it would be an unique frame, interesting frame.
Yes.
So waited for that, and all I get is this shot, and the butterfly wouldn't approach further closer to the beast.
Okay.
This is best.
Interesting, interesting story as well as interesting shot and a beautiful shot for sure. Yes.
And the beast and the buffalo and the Asiatic wild buffalo, it also very cooperating. So it sat there for almost 15 to 20 minutes.
Lucky you.
Lucky me, really. So here's another um, shot of this elephant family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is shot in the eastern zone of Kaziranga. So
Mm-hmm.
when we are about to exit the national park, so
Mm-hmm.
we so in our, you can see the road
Mm-hmm.
side, so we get to see this. And when we are photographing this, and we don't want to breach the comfort zone of this family, but
Mm-hmm.
there was another herd
Mm-hmm.
which was just behind us and
Mm-hmm.
approaching towards us gradually. So
Okay.
we have to
Move.
move there.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's another adorable shot of this elephant.
Beautiful.
So uh, when I passing, so I got to see this elephant which was grazing and flapping its ear that
Mm-hmm.
way. So I just took a continuous some shot in continuous mode,
Mm-hmm.
and got this adorable ear flip.
Great.
So here's Indian hog deer, again in the Burapahar range. So as I told earlier, this range was so beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and the field was lots of white flowers. So you can see the light, the flowers, the way the animal was staring at us,
Mm-hmm.
completely really a simple frame, but I
Mm-hmm.
really like.
Great.
So you can see another shot from that same range.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you can see the water scene in the background, but maybe you can't see that due to the contrast of the background. The rhinoceros is continuously thumping its leg um, onto the water. There was
Mm-hmm.
a bit kind of wetland kind of feeling, so
Mm-hmm.
the water was splashed up. So
Oh,
maybe it was not able to can able to see here, but
not much. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the, yes, another shot, a tender moments from the wild, from the
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
So on the left, you can see a little grave with its two cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was shot in Purvasthali, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult to get a eye level shot from boat.
Okay.
So, so what I because your boat is much higher level than the water. So
Yes.
what I usually do in my case is I carry a scooter tire,
Okay.
and I place that tire on the water,
Okay.
tied it to the boat so that
Okay.
we can move away while shooting, and
Yes.
I place my gear um, carefully on the tire,
Oh,
and
great.
and my boatman, what he does is
Mm-hmm.
he just tilt his boat
Mm-hmm.
sidewise,
Oh,
so so that I can place my eye to the viewfinder,
my
because
God.
shoot with a DSLR and in live view you can't get the high FPS, right? So for that you have to shoot through the viewfinder, but
Mm-hmm.
I shoot this way when I used to have my D500, but thanks to the technologies and I switched to mirrorless, and it is all a child's play now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just keep my camera on the scooter tire, and
Mm-hmm.
I flip my screen up
Yep.
and shoot.
That's
This is
great.
this is the um, this is the technology which we always look forward.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Wonderful.
So, and on the right side, you can see the Cape Langur mother,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which was nursing its baby, and it
Mm-hmm.
was shot in Kaziranga, and
Mm-hmm.
it was mid noon, so the
Mm-hmm.
light was very harsh, and they was uh, they was sitting under a tree shed, under a branch shed. So
Mm-hmm.
so I had to, the contrast is so high that
Mm-hmm.
I had to minimize the contrast in the post processing, but
Mm-hmm.
actually I really like the rim effect on both of the tails.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, and I couldn't get a I did not get a better picture than this, maybe hoping for the next time to get a better shot of Cape Langur.
Okay. It's a nice one still.
Thank you. So this is the osprey with fish from Purvasthali. So
Great.
actually, I had tons of osprey images with fish catch, but
Mm-hmm.
the either there was only the tail part, little bit of
Mm-hmm.
tail part, and the rest is finished, or
Mm-hmm.
it only has the leftovers. So I was really longing for many times, for many days, to get a full fish with.
Okay.
So it was a winter morning, and we got lucky that uh, before the osprey came with its fish catch, we
Mm-hmm.
reached to the spot.
Great.
So when we reached, we also saw that uh, fish was alive
No.
till that time, and the fish was, you can see how big the fish is. So
Yes.
it was flicking its tail, and the blood was dripping. So
Oh,
it was really one of my favorite shot.
great. Great moment. It was worth your waiting and your, you call yourself lucky, but then the kind of work you're putting towards, definitely you can see the results. Good job.
Thank you so much. So moving forward, another shot of the same sequence which I have shown earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So after getting the rhino sidewise,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought, why shouldn't I go for something creative this time?
Mm-hmm.
And as I told earlier, the jungle manners, you can find them with rhinos everywhere, and continuously they continuously fly to and fro, from ground to the rhino back, and rhino
Mm-hmm.
back to ground. So so the sun was just opposite, and the sun rays just coming through its translucent wings, uh,
Okay.
highlighting its white spots of the jungle myna.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the interaction between these two jungle mynas.
Okay.
Like one is seated on the back, like it was saying that hurry up, ride and dine. See lots of insects flying just around the rhino body.
Yes. Yes.
So this was it. And here's another um, shot from Kaziranga, and this is my first tiger sighting.
Great.
Actually, I didn't went and didn't visit to that much of national parks.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my first time tiger sighting, and it is very special to me. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, our gypsy was alone. There was no other gypsies, so only we got the shot.
No,
And
great.
yes, and the way, and I got the shot in my first day of safari of Kaziranga,
Wonderful.
and it is not easy to find a tiger in Kaziranga. like many other national parks.
Yes.
So it's become more special for me, and that intense look and the way it was approaching
Yes.
towards our gypsy, so it was really special.
Great shot.
Thank you.
Wow.
So I very simple frames, and this the left one is the gray-headed swamp hen shot
Mm-hmm.
at Manglajori, and the
Mm-hmm.
right one is pond heron with water lily,
Mm-hmm.
and it was taken in Purvastali.
Mm-hmm.
So in both images, you can see the reflections.
Yes.
So what I want to add in this case, that to the beginner photographers, that
Mm-hmm.
don't crop out the reflections in camera or while post processing.
Yeah.
If in case you are not doing something, or you are not trying something creative in generic case, then don't crop out the reflections.
Great.
So moving forward, another frame from Purvastali. I was there for the red crested poachers,
Mm-hmm.
and some movements, some heavy movements we noticed
Mm-hmm.
uh, in this algae. So
Mm-hmm.
and it was a bit far from our boat.
Mm-hmm.
So we just spot that a snake is uh, 100 something, but we don't
Okay.
able to see that what it is, or so my boatman was very efficient, and he just quickly started to row, and I
Okay.
was praying like, don't swallow, don't swallow it.
Yeah.
So, when we reached to some closer spot, and so it was so big. The fish was so big. It
Mm-hmm.
was really struggling to gulp it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I captured it. I got some kind of about 10 to 15 images.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the mm, best of that series.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So it is not like what you are shooting, you have to focus only on that. You
Mm-hmm.
have to keep an eye on your surroundings too, on your
Yes.
other subjects too, because you
Yes.
never know um, what you can get in wildlife, because
Yes.
wildlife is unpredictable,
Yes.
and all about the fraction of seconds.
Yes.
Um, Moving forward, it is another habitat shot of this pair of black buck
Mm-hmm.
from not Manglajodi. This is the place called Vetnai
Mm-hmm.
in Odisha. So
Mm-hmm.
I opted for this habitat because the first layer of hill in the
Mm-hmm.
background, the second layer of trees, and the third layer of paddy field, and these all together make the image look more beautiful than what would be the if we took the close up.
Mm-hmm.
And the second reason,
Mm-hmm.
it was shot in February end, and by that time the Odisha um, uh, got Odisha become so hot. Odisha's
Mm-hmm.
weather became very hot,
Mm-hmm.
and it was shot at midnoon. So
Mm-hmm.
there are severe heat waves
Yes.
from the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and the heat waves are really interfering with the output result,
Yeah.
and and the pictures of the black bugs got so blurry and distorted, so I opted for habitat shot.
Great. Oh, lovely.
This was shot obviously from Kaziranga, and when we get to see this mother and child,
Mm-hmm.
uh, mother and child, this pair, the
Mm-hmm.
the calves, the rhino calves, be it elephant calves, they are so playful.
Yes.
uh, so it was not giving us the opportunity to get a a proper shot. So it
Mm-hmm.
was either hiding behind its mother,
Mm-hmm.
or it was just laying on the ground. And the
Okay.
grass there was so tall
Mm-hmm.
that the grass covered almost 80% of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Calf was not easily visible.
Visible.
So we have to wait for some 2 to 3 hours to get this shot. And the
Okay.
calf was a bit far, and it
Uh-huh.
was slowly approaching towards its mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited for that moment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so that um, I mean, those mouse uh, in front. So, and I
Great.
get this image.
Great. Great. Wonderful image.
Thank you. So here's
Okay. Your voice is breaking.
and this is not a so you can hear now.
Aparupa, I think there is a connection issue. I'm not able to hear you. I can see the image, but I'm not able to hear you. I'm not sure whether it is me or it's the internet. Definitely, it's not. I'm not able to hear anything. Oh, it looked like there is a connection issue from Aparupa's side, and I was not able to hear anything. It looks like her connection got dropped and she vanished. So we will wait for a few minutes to see if she will be able to log in again and share the rest of the stories. But see, 7 years time and how a person change and doing a master's in physics and then getting into photography. And I think definitely I can understand her perspective coming from such a beautiful place with a lot of wildlife presence in and around. I'm very sure that how it's going to affect a person's life because I've kind of come through the same situations. And the best part is her family is supportive. You know, you traveling along with your mother and her mother helping in the behind the scene videos. If you check her Instagram or any of the social media, you can see some amazing, beautiful videos of she shooting. So that's definitely great. So that's what I think Aparupa is trying to connect again, but it's still not visible. So let's wait for her to join. Until then, um, what in the last what 35 almost 1 hour's time, what I have realized is the way she explained each and every image and the techniques which she was using to capture those images were really good. So we have Aparupa over here. Hi. We missed
Hi,
your last
can you hear me
frame.
now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I think you need to share the screen once again and get into that frame which you were trying to share. Your connection still have some issues. Your screen is still frozen. But let's give it one more shot to see if you are able to share the screen, please. Yeah, sometimes the internet connections can be a pain, and that's what is happening over here. Aparupa's screen is still frozen. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seeing this beautiful images is one side of it, and your willingness to share the story along with the approach and the details. That's what makes you different. And here she have done a great job. Yeah. You're back now.
I
I can see you and hear you.
can you hear me properly? Actually, I am not
Yes,
hearing. I'm
I
not able
can
to
hear
hear
you.
you properly.
I can hear you well now. So if you can share
Okay.
your screen. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. There was an internet connection issue, so we kind of lost the um, talk in between. And Tapropa is just reconnecting. Oh, thank you, Paul. We got a message from Paul, one of our viewers and a regular person, definitely. And he said, no worry, no pressure. So you can take your time and connect your screen. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yes, I can see it now. Perfect. Great.
See you?
Yes,
Can see
yes.
you?
And you just,
Yes.
yes, just make it full screen, please. Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, where was I? So, this is a image of Asian palm silhouette,
Yeah.
and actually, this is not at all captive. So, this is
Okay.
absolutely wild. So, this is
Uh-huh.
absolutely wild, and actually, it really loves to visit our house for food, and especially for leftover prasad. So you
Okay.
can see it with the Malakshmi idol.
Mm-hmm.
It visited our puja room. So there's a story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So like just like our house, he intrudes the houses of in our neighborhood. So
Okay.
people actually fear the thing they don't know, right?
Yes.
So it is a nocturnal species,
Mm-hmm.
and it would not like to rest around the usual certain time. So when this on the kind of species means entering the house and stealing your food, and out of fear, what they do is they throw stones or anything that is available near the hand. So can you hear me now?
In between, your voice was dropping, but I can hear you now.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So should I recheck my internet connection?
No, this is fine. Right now, it's okay.
Okay. So they actually throw stones at them, and whatever else is near their hand. So sometimes it results, sometimes they are injury. The time when I uploaded this image to my Instagram handle,
Mm-hmm.
they got to know about this species and they asked me about this species. So when
Mm-hmm.
they came to know that this is not harmful and
Mm-hmm.
not aggressive species, rather they are very shy, very shy nocturnal
Yeah.
animals,
Mm-hmm.
then of course their mentality got changed and
Yes.
their behavior got changed. So
Yeah.
uh, yes, of course they maintain a safe distance with it,
Mm-hmm.
but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time they stopped harassing it or
Yeah.
harming.
Yes.
So I want to say that uh, you never know how your images are influencing your surrounding.
Yes.
So keep clicking, keep
Yes.
creating meaningful images, and
Yeah.
keep contributing something positive to
Yeah.
nature.
Great.
And and lastly, let's be respectful of nature no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yes.
So that's all that I wanted to share with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Apropa. It was such a spectacular session. I just loved every bit of it. You really showed your journey from the beginning till wherever you are right now. And you show how you progress, how the way you change, you seeing things from close up to the habitat shots, and portrait to the behavior and to
Yes,
the action, and getting more into the conservation side and awareness building of part of photography. And you're doing a spectacular job, and thank you
thank
so
you
much
so much.
for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We have
Should
a
I
bunch of
should
I'm
I
sorry.
minimize? Should I
No,
minimize?
I have done it, so you don't need to worry about it. Great. So we have a bunch of comments. Paul Manuran mentioned all the best, and Raj mentioned that the damselfly image with the monitor is fantastic, and definitely that
Thank
was one of your best.
thank you
Uh,
so much.
and what's your advice for women, specifically girls, who are getting into photography? How do you
So
think they can get permission from their family? I'm sure you are lucky when it comes to, in your case, your parents are quite supportive, but in generally, do you think is there any
yeah.
tips or tricks?
So I would say that you have to convince them. You have to uh, tell your heart out to your parents that how you are into this passion, and this is, and it gonna hurt you. It only give you the best things in your life, what I felt till now. So you have to convince them by telling them how much you are into this, and what how important this thing and these things to you. So all you need to convince them like that, right?
Do you have any tips for learning photography for beginners?
Yes, like I said earlier, first have patience. Patience is the key, and then do practice more.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the field, get at the backyard of your house, and you will get lots of macro elements. So
Mm-hmm.
do more practice. And third, keep and develop an eye for the composition.
Mm-hmm.
And because to me composition is something which is greater than the, which is bigger than the technicalities.
Yes.
Mm. So, and fourth, learn the basics. I mean,
Yes.
the what basics you have to learn first to just start the photography, the exposure angle, and don't think like I don't have a DSLR, so I don't start photography.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, so when you are starting photography with your phone, there are lots of options too. You can have purchase the cheap macro lenses which are meant for the phone cameras,
Yes.
which are they available in the market. So
Yeah.
you first start with the composition,
Yes.
and the macro elements also give you enough time
Yes.
to uh, practice with those compositions. So
Yeah.
that would be my advice.
Great. Great. And yeah, there is Rishi from Caribbean Islands mentioned you love your work, Aparupa. Then Vishal said hello. Ahmed said wonderful. And Vipin again said hi. So there are a lot of hi, hellos. And more than that, what I would like to say is your journey is beautiful. And I'm sure you're going to go way forward, and amazing images, and the way you explain the things. That's what made more interesting. The boat trip, I know how difficult it is to shoot from a boat, and thinking about carrying a tire, and managing to kind of
Kind of.
tilting the boat and getting into water level. It shows your dedication and the tips. Now I've never thought about it. I always used to keep it's a struggle to hold the camera, and you're worried whether it will slip from your hand. So you
Yes, when you are shooting for a long time,
yes.
so very difficult to carry those heavy gears.
Heavy gears, yes.
Mhm. Yes.
That's amazing. So, how do you find the shift from birds to mammals? I know you started with birds, same like me, and
Yes.
then get into cats. What do you think you are going to focus more on, or you are going to think about a combination of mammals and birds?
Yes, I am going to do both mammals and birds, because I don't actually feel like I am not a but um, I'm not like that kind of person who shoot only the exotic species. I am more like a frame chaser, you can say.
Yes,
So if I see a myna in a beautiful frame, so
yes,
I will definitely go for it rather than a tiger
yeah,
with lots of distractions.
yeah. And hello to the videographer behind the scene in your reels. Now I know. Yes, that was definitely a surprise for me too. I mean, your mom is doing a wonderful job, and hats off to you for the support as well as for those beautiful videos. That's definitely commendable.
And my mom also can spot the subjects.
Oh,
She has
great.
amazing power to spot the species.
Wonderful. That
So
that's definitely amazing.
yes, I always try to get her along with me in safari.
Cool, cool. That's definitely cool. Then what is the next one? Yeah, one second. We have a WhatsApp group, so I'm just checking the messages for the questions. So, what's your next? Do you? There are two things. One, have you ever tried to do macro?
Yes, definitely. I was into macro because when you can't able to get outside
Mm-hmm.
and all you want to do is macro. I also had macro lens.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing the macros at my backyard. So
Okay.
I have tons of macro images.
Great, great. What's your next trip? So you mentioned that you're planning to start with your own workshop other than Nikon workshops in February, and which is where is going to be your starting destination?
For workshops, I will start it from Kaziranga,
Mm-hmm.
and my next trip was in Jim Corbett in December.
Oh, great, great. Great. I think that's it, dear. Thank you so much for your time and all the best for your workshops and your journey. You have some
Thank
spectacular
you.
images, and more than that, your willingness to share your time and sharing your tips. It was really a beautiful session. So we appreciate your time, and thanks on behalf of Posters and on behalf of our viewers and from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So that was Aparupa with her spectacular images. And let's see who is going to be on our next weekend visitor, who is going to share their story. Till then, you all please take care, stay safe, see you soon.